Hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time to watch our video. Today we've got a lovely little battle report for yourself today. How many wins have you got so far, John?
I'm rocking a massive 0 wins.
I think I'm rocking the same as you at the moment.
So this is how not to play.
So I think one of us has got a chance of winning this, yeah?
I think we have. 8th edition for pros.
So one of us has got a chance to break the habit and actually win a game.
Yeah.
So John, do you want to tell us what we're...
Yeah, so we're going to play one of the No Retreat SM Battle Reports missions today. Both of us are going to the No Retreat 5 tournament and the No Retreat Horus Heresy. The only 2 people that are doing both.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I thought it was someone else.
No, I think it's just us. We're the only crazy ones. So yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you haven't already, please do check out the SM Battle Reports team at their Facebook page, and you know, give them a like. They do some awesome content, some great kind of written battle reports, old White Dwarf style stuff. So very cool. But anyway, I digress slightly. So the mission we're going to do today is a modified Maelstrom mission. So it's kind of a combination of the Eternal War missions. I don't even know if they're called that anymore. I don't know what they're called that. But the Eternal War missions.
Might be worth checking that one up at some point.
Probably check it at some point. I'm still in 7th edition mode to a degree. But basically, so you've got a bit of Eternal War and you've got a bit of Maelstrom. So the Eternal War mission we're going to play today is the good old-fashioned kill points, which I believe is called No Mercy now, and we're going to do the cleanse and control from a Maelstrom point of view. So the way that the mission works, and we'll explain it as we're going through, so don't worry too much, but basically the Eternal War mission, so in this case kill points, counts to majority of your points. So that's your kind of your main mission. Your secondary mission is your Maelstrom mission, and then you have the good old Slay the Warlord, Line Breaker, and we have First Strike, which both armies can get as long as they kill a unit in the first turn, in their first turn. And if you score both the secondary and the tertiary, which is get the most of those bonus missions, then you can potentially draw if the other person takes that primary mission. So it all hinges on that kill points, but the other part has a big part to play as well. So that's the mission. I think it's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. I can see a lot of Nids getting roasted in this one.
Oh, well, we'll see about that. I think this is the battle of the losers at the moment. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully you're going to enjoy it, guys. If you haven't already, please do hit that sub button and press the old bell button, so when you see the notifications coming up from the channel, you can jump on, and that really helps us loads. But without any further ado, let's jump in and look at those armies.
Right guys, let me give you a breakdown of what I'm going to be taking in my list. So for 2,000 points, we'll start off with, I'm going to be taking the Renegade Chapter, purely because we don't have at the moment 1,000 Suns Codex, or no buffs in the new Space Marine Codex. So going Renegade, which with their benefits lets me advance and assault, which is
it's pretty powerful.
I think that's really good, especially with the bikes.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's quick, mega quick.
Even with the Terminators, that could give them that opportunity to move forward and do something if they're not shooting.
The Demon Prince gets ultra quick.
That becomes silly.
Yeah.
It really does become silly.
So that's pretty cool.
If it works, that's if it works in my favour. And then I'm going to be going with for my HQ, I'm going with a Demon Prince. Now, my Demon Prince is not really given any aura buffs because I don't have any demons on the field. So his aura buffs are not really doing anything for me on this. But what I have got is the ability to cast some psychic spells, which I'm going to be going for Presence, and I'm also going to be going for Smite, which he knows.
Yeah. And what's his Warlord trait you gone with?
The Warlord trait, I'm just about to get to that, my friend. I'm going with Hatred Incarnate, which lets me reroll hits.
It does.
Reroll one, sorry. So I'm hitting you on twos anyway.
Yeah. So that's pretty good.
Dirty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty dirty.
It's dirty. So troop wise, I've got 2 squads of cultists, 10 and 10, and I'm going with Stubber in each squad. And then for my elites, I'm going with the Terminators, so just normal Terminators, not the cult, and going with the Reaper Autocannon, and then with the Power Fist. Nice. And then 2 squads of Rubik Marines, 10 and 10, and then so again with those I'm going to have Smite, and I'm going to roll off to see what I'm going to take with these. I'm not too sure what I'm going to take psychic wise for those just yet, and then going with the Soul Cannons in one in each squad as well.
Tasty.
And then for heavy support I've got 2 lovely Leviathans rocking with the Metal Guns in their arms, Butcher Cannons, which is quite nice, and they've also got double flamers in their chest, which is awesome. And then for my fast attack I'm rocking with 10 bikes. Want to give these a try. I know they look really good, so chance to move fast, a lot of bolters, give me an opportunity to get objectives when they do pop up. And then there's 2 Melt Guns in that squad with the champion rocking with a power axe.
And what's the detachment? This is a...
Going with a spearhead.
No. It is a Vanguard.
Vanguard, that's the one.
Well rehearsed there, well rehearsed.
Yes.
So Vanguard detachment. So in all you're rocking how many command points?
It's going to be rocking with 4 command points.
Okay.
The Vanguard gives me the +1.
Tasty, tasty. And we get to decide on what his relic, because we'll get to choose a relic as well, because you get 1 free relic. So we'll have a little look at that. Unless you know what it is already, but we'll probably...
No, I've got to have a quick, while you're having a little on yours, I'll have a little look, and then when we go into turn 1, I'll update you what I've decided for the relic's going to be.
Let's have a look at the Tyranids today.
Hey.
Right guys, so here is my Tyranid army. I've got 2,000 points here. It's a combination of a battalion detachment and a patrol detachment, as well as a super heavy auxiliary, just because of the kind of way it fitted in. I don't think this is a fully optimised list. I'm still just enjoying trying a bit of everything at the moment. It's just quite fun. The Tyranid units are all really good, and there's loads of sort of strength in depth and loads of stuff to play around with. I think this is a strong list. I think it should potentially do well. It's got some really good elements in it. It's probably not fully optimised, but we'll jump in and have a little look at it. So let's start off with that patrol detachment. We've got a Broodlord, and the Broodlord will be rocking the Catalyst psychic power. Other than that, he's standard. And then in that same patrol detachment, we've got 3 Rippers. And so pretty standard, pretty straightforward. Just kind of needed that little detachment to kind of make this list legal. So then going into the battalion detachment, I have a Termagant, big old Termagant. I'm rocking the Mark of Dave, the legendary Mark of Dave, and actually he's got claws, and I'm afraid he's got talons, Darren. Sorry mate. I'm telling him now, because otherwise he probably would have discontinued that and said no, I'm not having it. But anyway, so he's rocking the talons, even though they look a little bit like claws.
Yeah, I was going to say they do look a bit funky going on there.
They do. And she is also going to be...
You sure it's a she or is it a he?
She's a she. She's Big Bertha.
Okay.
Big Bertha.
So I'm sure you just called it a he.
Well, she's a bit confused, you know. It happens with these Tyranids, you know. They're not really.
It's
too
fine.
sure.
We accept all.
Exactly. We're all encompassing here on Twisted Dice. So she's also got Catalyst. Now you can only ever cast 1 psychic power, like 1 type of psychic power, apart from Smite each turn. But the different roles these 2 units have are so dramatically different. It's still quite a lot of benefit to have the same psychic power that we can kind of work with. So you'll hopefully see that in the game, but that's kind of why, if you kind of scream and go, why have you got them both, because they're both not going to work, well actually you'll see how that potentially will come into play. And then I have 2 Melonthropes. So Melonthropes, absolutely awesome units, still really good. They have a 3-inch aura, which allows -1 to shooting abilities when they're shooting at units. So that's really handy. They're also characters, they're synapse creatures, they're just generally very good, and they're really well pointed as well, so they're juicy, absolutely juicy. The one at the back is going to be my Warlord, the one with the tufts of grass. A little bit cheesy, but you know they're pretty hard to get to because of that minus and because they generally kind of sit and protect and being characters. So it's a good one to kind of go through Warlord. I've gone for the Survivor Warlord trait, which will basically give me a 6-up kind of feel no pain, which is again pretty tasty. Yeah. Just kind of we're playing kill points, so ultimately I want that dude to survive the distance. Then into troops choices, I've got 2 juicy great big units of Gene Stealers, so I've got a unit of 20 and I've got a unit of 19, just where the points kind of went. Again, standard, but no toxin sacks, but they're an awesome unit, absolutely beasts in combat, very quick. And they're actually pretty well survivable as well, so which is quite cool. And then we've got 29 Termagants, again just points wise, just kind of racking it in there, and they're just standard with the Flesh Borers. We'll then move into heavy support, and in heavy support I've got 2 units, so I've got the Exocrine, absolute heavy hitter, all-star, a bit cheesy, people would like to rock lots of them. I'm thinking maybe 8 for no retreat, should I go with 8?
No, you're just
so the Exocrine, really solid unit.
Yourself, you will.
I will get a name, yeah, if that name's not already there, which it probably is. So we've got the Exocrine, he's a really solid unit. You know, 1's probably fair, to be fair, he's not too OP with just 1, but it's when you get multiples of the guys, they do spit out a lot of damage. Yeah, pretty frightening unit. And then we have the Stone Crusher Carnifex. Now somebody in one of the chats over on my own channel kind of said, I want to see what it does, what it's like. So we're going to give it a go. I'm not sure whether I think it's that great, but it's got potential, and it's again really quite cheap for what it can do. And it has the flail and it has the claw. So the flail basically means that you get as many attacks as models that are within 2 inches of the Carnifex. So it means that potentially, against like a Horde unit that comes in, he could get a mass load of attacks and swing that flail and cause damage. It's probably unlikely to happen that often, it's probably quite situational, but it's still not a bad little thing to have. So that's that. And then we'll go into the last part of the army, which is my super heavy detachment. And that is the Scythed Herogil. And again, stock standard. I still quite like this guy. I potentially prefer him to his brother, the Barbed. I like the fact that he's very killy in combat, and that Flamer's juicy, particularly when things are trying to attack him for like Overwatch and what have you. So, and I just think he looks cool, you know, and it's all about the raw cool, isn't he? He just he's ready to do some work. So that's my 2,000 points.
And what was it you said to me? He dies really quickly.
He does die very quickly.
I can't see him dying very quickly.
We'll see.
How many wounds?
He's got 24, 25, that's something crazy. Like that. He's got quite a few wounds, but you'd be surprised how quickly he goes down with multiple damage weapons, we'll see. He doesn't like a melter to the face, Darren.
Does he not?
He does not like a melter to the face.
Bear that in mind. If I can get it off, if I can fire the gun, then that would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely. So we, just to kind of go briefly, we've pretty much got the same sort of drops. So, and you know, so actually kill points wise, this is going to be pretty close. But anyway, you've seen the armies, and you know what the mission is, so let's just jump into the deployment and get this thing underway.
Cool.
Right guys, we're going to jump into deployment. Before we start, there's a couple little amendments we want to make to what we were speaking previously. Darren's kind of tweaked a few things around and we discovered a couple of things. Darren, do you want to talk us through your changes?
Yeah, so one of the things I made a mistake on, which was the Demon Prince himself. He does actually benefit or buff the Astarte unit, Legion Astartes around him. So they actually do re-roll their ones. So it'd be silly of having to change the Warlord trait over. So now I'm going for the Exalted Champion, gives him the +1 strength. For the Psychic wise, I'm giving him Diabolical Strength. Artifact, I'm going to be giving him the Eye of Zinch, which gives him the +1 on the Psychic ability for rolling for Smite, which is going to be good. So for Squad Unit 1, I'm going to be giving him Prescience. And then on Squad number 2, Sorcerer, I'm going to give him the Weavers of Fate. So Prescience is going to give me, add 1 to my hit rolls. And then the second Psyker is going to give me the +1 on my invulnerable saves. So wherever I decide, I'm going to give that to. So that could make some changes there.
Nice. And do you want to talk us while we're looking at your army? Do you want to talk through exactly your deployment and your kind of thoughts behind it?
Yep. So first of all, I've got 1 squad of Terminators in reserve. So I've kind of cast myself up the middle because I know I've got a lot of Gene Stealers coming down my way. So what I ideally want to do is maybe try windle off the squad ahead of me, try take them all out so they can't respawn. It's going to be tricky because you've already got the +1.
Yeah, -1 to your hitting, yeah.
Yep, so that's kind of done me a little bit, but hopefully my presence might make that a little bit better for myself. And then I think it's pretty much going to focus on that and try, let's see what I can get you to come to me a little bit on the objectives. But this is dice rolling, and it is all down to the fate of the cards. Kind of made one mistake with the cultist there, kind of hidden back a little bit. Maybe I should have been a bit more aggressive, pulling forward. I think only time's going to tell at the moment on this one.
Okay, so yeah, so as Darren said, pretty much through the middle. So probably the only exception is your Leviathan that's rocking out over there in the ruins. It's just scared, I think.
I just didn't think he wanted to get involved in the party.
He doesn't want to get involved in the party. So we'll talk through the Tyranny Deployment. So very cat and mouse it was the whole way through. Darren has less drops, so I had to consider that the chances are probably will get second turn. So we kind of deployed in that manner. We've got pretty much 2 bases. The Maelstrom are the key. This is the Warlord down here. He's by the Scythed Huragil, just to make sure that he's in synapse range, but also kind of protecting him if Darren could get a bead on him. I think it's going to be struggling because I made sure that he was behind this big block, and they've got the huge rate terrain that side as well. So potentially a bit of line sight blocking, which is going to be helpful. We've got the smaller unit of Gene Stealers, the 19 that's down here, clustered around again, using this as cover. We've got a big old unit of the 29 Gaunts that are all daisy chained right along here back to the other Maelstrom, and this Maelstrom is protecting this little unit of this group of beasties. So we have the Crusher Carnifex, Big Bertha, and the Exocrine all hanging around here. Darren was particularly scared about the Exocrine, and rightly so. So a lot of shenanigans around where to deploy him. Decided to put him here. He's got some potential targets down at that Leviathan over the far side, and he's also kind of centre stage, but with a bit of line of sight blocking over this side. Then as we stroll along, we have a daisy chain again of Gene Stealers rocking right back across here in the far corner. They're quite defensively deployed, and the reason why is because Darren's trait for his whole army that can advance and charge, I'm very much considering the speed of these bikes and the demon prints, and I want to look at potential counter charges. So I don't want to be putting the Gene Stealers right far forward and get them charged. I want them to be doing the charging. And then last but not least, we've got our Broodlord, who again is by this larger unit of Gene Stealers to make sure that he can jump in there and give him the buffs. Potentially an error there when I've got one Broodlord only buffing 1 unit of Gene Stealers. Might have been an error, because obviously these guys won't get his bonuses at the moment unless they peg it over to the other side. So maybe an error there, but I wanted to make sure that my big hard-hitting units were nice spread across the board to give me the dominance of being able to go up either side. So we'll see how that pans out, and we will we'll go into potentially the seas. We'll find out who's going first and all that goodness, and we'll come back to you in a second. Right, okay guys, so we're going to go on to see who is going to get the first turn. Darren has got +1 to this roll. He deployed first. He managed to get all his units down. So we'll see how we go. Let's have a look. So I'm looking at a lovely 1 and Darren's on a 4. So Darren, what are you going to go with?
I think it'd be silly for me not to go first.
So you're going to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go first.
He's going to go first. And in that case, guys, I am not going to try and seize the initiative. So we will go in to Chaos Space Marines turn 1.
So objective wise, pulled 3 cards. So I've got Warp as your ally, so I need to summon some psychic abilities, Kingslayer, and secure objective marker 1. Now scoring objective marker 1 is over where Sir Leviathan is set at the moment, which is kind of stopping me from pulling him forward. I was hoping to pull him forward to start shooting at his horrible thing at the back with all those horrible shots. Kingslayer, which is then meant at the top corner by John's lines. I pulled my Terminator squad in to go for his Warlord. Now I'm kind of hoping for, if you've ever played on the PlayStation Space Hulk, now they used to coming up to bucket loads of Gene Stealers, so we're going to pretend this is Space Hulk and we're going to go for the Gene Stealers. I'm happy for it. Everything else has pulled itself forward. Try to get some shots in there. Warlord is just stuck to the back, trying to give him some buffs. Let's see where we go. Right then, so Psychic's phase, 2 spells went off, so I got my Prescience and I got my Weavers of Fate. The only spell I did mess up on were my Warlord itself, going with the Demonic Diabolical Strength. Unfortunately, I rolled a double 1, which meant Perils of the Perils. So using the command dice, so I've now lost the command dice, allowed me to re-roll. Luckily, I managed to get a 2. So the spell doesn't go off, but it also means I don't lose any wounds.
Because Darren actually rolled for the wounds as well, and he lost 3 wounds from it. So we had a good old laugh, and then thankfully for him, the command points came in to save his bacon. But in a nutshell, your 1,000 Suns at the front have got +1 to hit, right?
Yep, +1 to hit.
And the Leviathan has got +1 to his Invon save, or
yes, it's got +1 to the Invon save.
+1 to his Invon save. So has he got an Invon save normally?
Yes.
So what's that brought him up to?
I believe it's bringing him up to a 4-up Invon.
Tasty. So not too bad there. So some success, and just manages to scrape away without blowing his head up of the Demon Prince. So we're going to the shooting phase now and see what Darren can do now in the first strikes of this game.
So shooting wise, I've taken 17 gaunts out with the shooting from the front. That +1 to hit him, or -1 on my hitting was horrible. So a lot of my stuff was pushing up to 4s and 5s. And then from his Warlord, managed to get 1 wound off with the Termes. So now I'm going to be going into Assault. I'm going to declare Assault on you, John.
Who are you going to try and assault?
Terminators are going to assault into your Warlord.
Yeah.
Because I need it for my objective.
Okay, so you're not going to try and assault anyone else, you're just going for the Warlord?
It's just going to be the Warlord.
Okay, go for it then. So you need 9 inches then, yeah? I'm guessing that's not 9 inches.
That's not 9 inches.
Okay, so obviously I had no Overwatch, but yeah, that's a failed charge, and that's quite big because they should go bye-bye now.
Unless I use a command point.
Oh, yeah, he has got potential actually. Command point. Is he going to do it?
Let's do it.
Oh, no. Rolled another
Terrible.
1. So, and that will come to the end. So no first strike, and no Warlord. And any of your objectives you score, you did score the Psychic Power one, didn't you?
So,
but only 2 because you failed the
yes,
one
I don't get that. So I've got objective marker 1.
Yeah, so scores that with his Leviathan.
And then I've got the Warp as your ally.
Okay, so scores 2 Maelstrom points. So not a bad start, but not as well as the Chaos. Yeah, not as well as the Chaos Space Marines hoped. So we'll see what happens now as we go into turn 1 for the Tyranids. Beginning of Tyranid turn 1, we've got Secure Objective 2, Secure Objective 1 and Big Game Hunter. So Secure Objective 1 and 2 are in the enemy's deployment zone. So we have Secure Objective 1, and the Objective 1 is down there, and Secure Objective 2, Objective number 2 is in there. So not the greatest places to have cards for. The other card I have is Big Game Hunter. So it's basically kill something with more than 10 wounds. So that would be the 2 Leviathans for me. So they're the ones I need. So not the greatest cards, because Leviathans are pretty hard to deal with, and they're far distance away from me at the moment. And obviously those objectives not great as well. So for movement, the 2 big guys, well I say 2 big guys, but the biggest guy and the Warlord Melon have come up here, unsurprisingly enough, to put some pressure on the Terminators that came in to try and snipe out the Warlord. The Gene Stealers have moved into kind of the cover from the big crates there. They're just kind of hovering. We're in a bit of a stage where if they run out into the middle, they're just going to get blown to pieces. So they can bide their time a little bit and sit there behind those cover. They've kind of advanced a little bit. The gaunts have been reinforced by 10 extra ones that have been spawned by Big Bertha. The Excrine has stayed exactly still and wants to make sure he can maximise his shooting. Carnifex has just kind of adjusted a little bit. Again, don't really want to just go straight into the barrel of the gun at the moment. And the Gene Stealers along with the Brood Lord have kind of ran up along this side, got quite a good advance, and they're kind of making a beeline around the side. And that's all I've done for movement, so we'll now go into the Psychic phase. In a very, very short psychic phase, I tried to cast Catalyst on the Gene Stealers. I failed. I used my reroll to try and get it off, and I failed again. So only rolling a 3. No perils, but unfortunately no Catalyst for the Gene Stealers. And we'll now go on into the shooting phase. So, end of the shooting phase. Mixed bag. So the Scythed Hyrule shot into the Terminators, doing no wounds at all. I didn't get very many hits. And I only actually managed to get 1 wound through that was saved, so no issues there. And the only other shooting I had was the Exocrine. I decided to shoot into the bikes, and I rolled really hot. Lots of hits, lots of wounds, and Darren needed 6s to save, and he rolled 4 saves out of 8. So even though pretty brutal, because 2 damage each, but he managed to save 4, so only 4 died. So pretty good for Darren there. Should save him quite a lot of damage there. But we'll now go into the assaults. I've got 2 guaranteed assaults. We'll take potentially some Overwatch, and then we'll go into the assault phase. Right, so we're just coming to pretty much at the end of the fight phase. The Scythed Hyrule has finished off majority of the unit, leaving just 1 Terminator left. Terminator obviously pretty resilient, nice 2-up save, but we're going to see now whether the Maelstrom can kill him off. The Maelstrom can kill him off, that gives me basically the old preferred enemy for my whole army, which is insanely good. So we thought we'd bring this to you anyway, because it's potentially first strike. So the Maelstrom first of all has 4 attacks, he needs 4s. And that's not a great start, so it's just the 1. I'm not going to use a command point. And then he is strength 4 against toughness 4, so again I need a 4, which he gets. It is -1. So Darren, do you want to take a roll?
Yeah, I think.
Go for it. So you're -1. He's fine on 3+. So we'll just, before we go to the end, what we will do is we'll do on a 4+. The Maelstrom's got a funky rule where basically on a 4+, the unit or the model next to him takes a mortal wound. So 4+ we're looking for here, which we don't get. Should I command point it? I'm just thinking whether command. And in fact, you would have got those attacks back first because it's the end of the fight phase. So we will do that in a second. I'm just seeing whether I will just do that command point. Yeah, we're going to use a command point. No, we won't. We won't use a command point. Go on, Darren. Attack him back. 2 hits, no hits because he needs 4s because of the +1 because of the power fist. So that will be the end of the fight phase. We'll potentially have a morale check now, which might be able to kill him off. We'll work that out in a second and we'll come back to you. Right, so we're into the morale phase, guys, and so we've just worked it out. Darren, if he can roll under a 5, he avoids losing. Don't you drop it. You watch that, guys. That is dropping. That is dropping. You stop dropping the dice. Stop dropping the dice. No, that's cool, guys. So basically, he's avoided that first strike through passing that morale test, and we'll now go into turn 2 for the Chaos Space Marines. And very briefly, before we go into Chaos Space Marine turn, I didn't score any of my objectives. What I am going to do is I'm going to discard Secure Objective 2.
Okay, so moving into the Chaos's turn 2, got Assassinate, which is going to be very, very hard this turn to get it. Kingslayer still. Again, I'm going to really struggle to get a Kingslayer, so it might have been worth chucking that previous turn and pick something Chaos up. Dunno. And defend and hold Objective Marker 6, which at the moment I've got more chance of winning the lottery than picking that one up. Especially when there's a whole bunch of Gene Stealers at the back of there. So, going to struggle picking those up. So movement wise, I pull my Cultist a little bit further over, but out of range at the moment of the horrible Exocrine, dirty, filthy, snot hurling filth bag. I need him to move.
You don't like him?
No, I don't. I need him to move. So I've just pulled myself out to a position where forcing his hand to make him move to lose his benefits. Pull my bike slightly over, so again out of range. Going to try start whittling down these Gene Stealers. Cultists are deciding they're going to move themselves up, and the Leviathan has seen some nice fresh targets appear. So hopefully, if I'm lucky, I might be able to get in there and do something with them. So let's see how we go on Psychic.
Right, what have you done?
So Psychic phase, only one spell went off, and that was just to put the invulnerable save on the Leviathan. So he's now got an invuln of 4+, and unfortunately on the +1 to hit, kind of didn't get that off. So let's go to shooting. So in my shooting phase, target all my shots into the lovely horrible Jinx Cedars coming through. How many did manage to kill off in the end, John?
4 in the end.
4 in the end.
Yep.
And then over on the other side with the Leviathan, we popped off the Ripper Swarm that was hiding itself just behind the building.
Yeah, Flamer's doing 10 wounds, so
Savage.
That was pretty brutal in itself, to be fair. That was it, wasn't it, from your shooting?
That's it.
Yeah, so we'll go now into the assault phase.
So in assault phase, striking first with my Termy. 1 hit, 1 miss. Thought I was in there, and I rolled a 1. I think John's very happy on that one. However, more happily, the fact that he hit me back and he pretty much missed all his attacks, got in with 1, and he failed to wound. Went for the his cheeky little mortal wound at the end of it, his little aura thing, and he rolled a 1. Used a command point, and what did you roll, John?
2.
2. So I think we're both in agreement that we kind of suck at combat there. However, he's desperate for that preferred enemy, so his big thing decided he wasn't going to attack. He's just going to sit there and watch his little buddy get munched up the next turn.
That's the end of your turn. So did you score anything in your turn? You didn't, did you?
No, believe it or not, I didn't get Assassinate, I didn't get Kingslayer, and I didn't get to offend Objective 6.
Wow.
So
you can see why we're good 40k players, can't you?
that's it. So I'm going to lose, defend, and hold Objective number 6.
Nice.
Purely because I can't see myself going anywhere near
That big guy.
Yeah, and the Gene
And the Gene
Stealers.
Stealers. Cool, so that's the end of turn, and we'll go into turn 2 for the Tyranids. So turn 2 for Tyranids, I drew defend objective 3, which is basically hold objective 3 for 2 consecutive turns, and that is over here where my Gene Stealers were. So that's kind of part of the plan. We need to make sure we kind of secure that. So we've done a little bit of movement. Darren's plan has absolutely worked. The Execron has had to move. I'm not going to just leave him there and have him do nothing. So he now is going to be a little bit less effective. So we've moved him across, and hopefully though he should still do a little bit of damage either to the bikes or potentially go for the Leviathan. And his crew has kind of moved with him. We've spawned up to the initial amount of gaunts, so we are back up to 29 gaunts, so pretty good going there. The Gene Stealers have stayed put where they are. Again, pretty much in no man's land. Darren has basically made a bit of a kill zone here, so if I come across into this way, I'm going to get bolted down quite severely, so still quite not sure whether I'm going to go into that area yet. Obviously these two guys are staying put. I really want the Melon to kill this guy to give me preferred enemy pretty much from the whole army. I might get bored after a while and just end up killing him with this Hive Pterodil, but at the moment we're going to play the game and see whether we can do it with the Melon. In theory, the mortal wound toxic miasma at the end of the turn should start kicking in, but I've rolled poorly on that first of all. The Gene Stealers have moved up again. They are going to be the target no doubt again for another turn. Hopefully this time we'll get Catalyst to make them a little bit more survivable, but we'll have to wait and see. And the Crush Effects has come this way, because what it means is potentially I can leave the Crush Effects there and the Gene Stealers can go on, or I have the Broodlord there just in that kind of tunnel. So it gives me a few options of what I want to do. We'll have to wait and see. So it's kind of pretty cat and mouse at the moment. Not too aggressive play from either armies. Darren's hid most of his army last turn, and I'm still being very, very cautious with what I do with mine, particularly with Gene Stealers. They're very, very, very fragile, but they have such a bite in combat, and I do not want to sacrifice them and throw them away. So interesting. Not that much I can do, but we'll see whether we can defend that and carry on chipping away with some of those crucial kill points. Enter Psychic phase, a successful malefaction, something like that. What do I say? Something. Anyway, the Broodlord managed to get it off, basically. He managed to get Catalyst off onto the Gene Stealers, giving them that juicy 5-up extra save on top of their already decent 5-up invuln. So tasty, good stuff there. And that was the end of the Psychic phase. No other Psychic powers, nothing has been in Smite range. And as I said at the beginning, the Termagant has got the same power, so he can't use that again. But again, hopefully that will come in play maybe later in the game. So we're now going to the shooting phase and see whether the X-Cron can do some damage. We'll have to wait and see. End of shooting phase, pretty uneventful stuff. The exocrine being now much less effective. Shot into the bikes and I only managed to do 1 kill. So I did kill 1 bike. So, you know, chipping away at them, but not as effective as it was by far. And that's the end of the shooting phase. We'll go into the assault phase and see whether potentially we can finish off this goddamn Terminator. Okay, end of the assault phase. And we did manage to chip down 1 wound with the toxic miasma at the end, but not before the Terminator whipped off 2 wounds from the Melon, taking him down to 6. So chipping away, I got probably another 2 turns before I get a little bit worried. But in theory, with 2 D3s, he could kill the Melon next turn. So we'll have to wait and see, and it will be his turn. So he's going to have 1 probably big last gambit at trying to take the Melon out and see whether it's my own fault, whether I've done that. But we'll have to wait and see. So that's going to be an interesting next assault phase for that Terminator. Can he make himself an absolute hero? We'll definitely get that one on camera for you when it comes round. But that's the end of my turn. Obviously I don't score anything this turn. I am going to get rid of secure objective 1 because that's a long way away from me, and we'll keep the other 2. Hopefully we'll score that defend objective 3 next turn, and we'll go into Chaos Space Marine turn 3.
Okay, so for objective wise I picked up secure objective marker 5, which is now here. So the cultists are within range, so they're going to pin back and hold that for a turn. Movement wise, I've moved the bikes, the Demon Prince up towards his Gene Stealers. I think now is the time to strike. My Leviathan, I couldn't just move him without being hit by that Toxicrene, so I've had to run the risk of rolling the dice, advancing at the same time. Lucky, got a 6. So that's put me well out of range of him being able to attack me, which is pretty bloody cool. These guys are still camped down behind, waiting for his other Gene Stealers to pop out, so we can just gun them down. And the Leviathan here has popped himself back, but he is definitely out of range of his nastiness to start hitting me, which I do not want at the moment. Okay, so psychic wise, I managed to pull off the Diabolical Strength onto the bikes, so it's given them +2 on the strength. I tried to be cheeky and cast Weavers of Fate onto the Leviathan. However, I'm not very good at rolling psychic, hence why I keep losing games. And I did roll a double 1. If it had gone through, I used the command I used one of the command dice to re-roll it. I had to, because we did roll to see what might have happened, and I could have popped 5 guys, would have lost from it. So 3 from one squad, 2 from another squad. So I think it was wise to use that command point.
And that's the 2nd time that's happened, guys. It's like it's thankfully that re-roll is helping him out. So we'll now go into the shooting phase.
Okay, so shooting phase wasn't too bad. The bikes shot all their lovely weapons into the Gene Stealers, managed to take off 9 Gene Stealers. Even the cultists got involved and managed to take 1 or 2 off. So very, very happy with them. John was very, very lucky on his saves. What he didn't save on his invulnerable, he pulled it back with the Cataclysm, which was pretty good. The Leviathan over here, he thought he'd have a cheeky shot at his little gaunts. They're going to come back any turn anyway, but for me, why not?
Killed 2, didn't you?
Might as well just shoot for fun anyway. Going now into assault.
Do you want to do your charges on there? We've just worked them out, haven't you? So let's be funny. It'd be funny when you fail them, Darren. Yeah, when you fail them by 1 inch because that little Gene Stealer you killed with Flamer from your Leviathan. When you roll there, what do we say? We need 5. So no command points left. Is that right? We got a command point.
Got 1 command.
It's got 1 command point left. I think we're going to need that, guys.
Oh, there it is! There it is!
We just got it.
So for my assaulting phase, the big dude managed to kill off, was it 3?
Yeah, I think you killed 3 in the end, yeah. I got quite lucky with my saves.
Yeah, your saves really pulled it around, and then the bikes managed to kill off 1 or 2 on your Gene Stealers there. However, your Broodlord did jump in. He decided he wanted to get involved with this. He wanted a part of the action, and he did manage to kill off 2 bikes and put a wound on another bike. And then the Gene Stealers popped back, and they took the guy with 1 wound. They just took him off the board. combat's kind of not gone the way I wanted. I was kind of hoping to get more damage, but I think in return, I think John was kind of hoping to get more from himself as well.
I was hoping to clear out those bikes, to be fair. I thought I'd probably clear them all out with the Broodlords, but so. And how many wounds did I take off your? I took what, 3 wounds off your?
Took 3 wounds off the thing. Yep.
So that was pretty good because that was my rending claws that did that, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
They did that.
Put them down to 5 wounds.
Yeah. So that wasn't too bad. And then over here carries on, doesn't it?
Yes, it carries on. So he's not quite.
It's not out yet.
I did get to wound you though. I did get to wound you. However, your cheeky little warlord trait means that you just shrugged it off and just said, "Nah, not interested. Whatever, mate.
Yeah.
Go play your alien game somewhere else. We're not having it here." So
it's all to play for, isn't
it? Yeah. There's no army at the moment is stonking ahead. So yeah, definitely all to play. So I did score objective marker 5 with the cultists.
Yeah.
So that puts me up to 3 victory points. Now I'm just debating whether to drop Assassinate or Kingslayer. I potentially could be lucky over there. It's not quite happened yet, but there is potential for it. Or I just don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm honest. I'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, so we're now going to turn 3 for Tyranids to see whether we can strike back. Tyranid turn 3, not greatest of cards coming out here, so I got Defend Objective 2, which is right down where the Thousand Suns are over this side of the board. Pretty much impossible to get to at the moment, so really annoying, and you have to hold that for 2 turns. So that I would definitely get rid of at the end of this turn. That's a total waste of time card, that one. So movement wise, very, very tricky because obviously the way that Darren's playing, he's playing quite defensive. He does have a lot of shooting, and I just have to kind of bear that in mind with my Gene Stealers. I don't really want those Gene Stealers just getting gunned down to pieces, so it's really, really difficult. I'd like them to potentially go after the Leviathan that's over there, because even though they're on Gene Stealers, the amount of attacks they get, and with the rending, I think that they could really kind of do some damage to that Leviathan over a period of time. But the reality is a long way away, and for them to get there, they need to go potentially straight past the Thousand Suns shooting range, as well as the Leviathan himself, and that's a bit too dangerous for me. So what we've done is we've swung across this way and right out across where the Gaunts are. The Gaunts have then moved forward as close to them as they possibly can and made enough room for the Maelstrom then to march in, and the Maelstrom now gets the Gene Stealers just about in his aura. The other guys have moved up this way. Again, the Exocrine just making sure that he can now see the Leviathan. Obviously he's really muted, so he's like hitting on 5s and he's only got 6 shots, but at least I can put some sort of work in there. And then the Termagant's moved across this way, the Gaunt chain is around here, and the Carnifex, who does need to make sure that he's within 3 inches of this objective, because we worked out that this bike is just in range of 3 inches of it. So what we've done is we've pulled round this way to make sure we can charge in. We're going to have a smite. We're going to try and do some work. We need to kill the bikes. It doesn't really matter about the Lord at the moment, the Prince. We'd like to do some work to him, but ultimately we need to make sure we take that kill point and take those bikes out of the range of that objective to hold that for 2 points, because Darren's starting to get a little bit of a lead on the Maelstrom, and I'm not picking great cards, so it's important that we try and swing that back in my favour. So that's kind of where we are. We'll go into the psychic phase now and see whether I can do any work in the psychic phase. Right guys, so end of the psychic phase, and we did a smite. I was umming and ahhing what to do from these guys, because what I just wanted to make sure was that we took out these bikes. Basically, that was the most important thing. So we smited into the bikes. We did get it off successfully, only just, but took out one of the bikes, doing 2 mortal wounds to take out one of the bikes, and that was it. We tried to get Catalyst off from the Termagant, as I said at the pre-game. Really important to have Catalyst on both the 2 units, because there's more than one place I'm going to need that psychic power. So tried to put Catalyst on the Gene Stealers that have come across. I did fail. I ummed and ahed about using a command point, but ultimately I don't think it's the right time at the moment. I only have 2 command points left, and I think there could be time in the game where they'll be absolutely vital. So we've decided not to do that, and allow that to fail, and now we will go on to the shooting phase. End of shooting, pretty uneventful. Got a few little bits of damage in. So the Bioplasma from the Carnifex, the Crush effects. I aimed into Leviathan. They are tough cookies. Not managing to do any damage with that. I mean, he's not particularly accurate. He is a Carnifex. He's not really there for shooting, but thought we'd give it a go. No damage done there. We tried to see if we could get some flesh borer damage onto him. They did run, but they are assault weapons, so hitting on 6s. And we did actually manage to get a wound through, but that was saved. And then the Exocrine, even though he's actually hitting on 5s, I did manage to get one through and did take 2 wounds off the Leviathan. So first damage done to the Leviathan, not too bad. A long way to go though before we really see that guy go down. And that's it for the shooting phase. So now we'll see what happens as we go into this very, very crucial assault phase. Right guys, as we thought, a very pivotal assault phase, and absolutely it proved to be. So the crush effects came charging in on the bikes. I did do a mortal wound, took 1 mortal wound off the bikes with a charge because he does that. That's because he's a kind of Carnifex, that's what happens. And then he really hit badly. I rolled terribly badly, but I did have the re-rolls. So I did manage to...
I did call it.
You did call it. Darren called the double 1 on the re-roll. I thankfully managed to convert it and killed enough. Combined with him and the Broodlord, I managed to clear out the remainder of the bikes to secure that objective. That was crucial. Didn't do any damage with the Jinxes, even though I rolled okay, and Darren bossed it with his saves, 2 invons and then 2 standard saves to make sure that the Demon Prince doesn't take any further damage. And then another real success for Darren ultimately, which is a bit of a funny one to say that's a success. But the Maelstrom again came under serious strain from the Terminator. Darren used his last re-roll to re-roll his second attack because he only got 1 through at first attempt. He then failed it again with a re-roll, but he did take 3 damage with his Power Fist, taking the Maelstrom down to 3, and obviously that is my Warlord. So enough was enough. I could not hang around any longer. I could not wait until the end of the assault phase to try his Toxic Miasma again. So the Hurgil then decided enough was enough, and he scythed him down and has consolidated there. So that's a big deal really, because it does mean I will not get the preferred enemy, that re-rolling 1s for the whole army, which is a huge buff. And Darren's little Terminator did incredibly well to hold him off for that long. But now, you know, we've got to do some work now. We've got a lot of points sitting in this side of the board. And we need to get him in the game. This is the end of turn 3 now, so he's got time against him. He's a quick beast, so he should be able to get in the game, but he now needs to make his mark, and we need to start getting him involved. And that's it. So I did score my hold objective 3 for 2 consecutive turns, which gave me 2 points, which levels the Maelstrom points at 3 all. I also killed a unit being the bikes unit, which is also pretty good, and I saw off that remainder of that Terminator unit for 2 kill points this turn. So generally a pretty good turn for the Tyranids. Could have been better. Would have liked to have done a bit more work on the Demon Prince, and ultimately now we have the Leviathan who is looming, and he will make his name known without a doubt. For one, he's not going to want to stand there and take more shooting from the Exocrine, so his logical position is to go in and start taking skulls over here. So we'll see what happens now as we go into turn 4 for the Chaos Space Marines.
Okay, so going into my turn 4 for the Chaos Space Marines, picked up the extra new objective, which is the Psychological Warfare. This is going to be difficult. The only way I can achieve this is probably killing off his Broodlord over where the combat is. So I've got to shoot him off first. If I can manage to kill him off, then I can possibly do it on the Gene Stealers, hopefully. So it's a difficult one. If not, I'm probably going to end up losing it next turn. And then all I've done is just pull myself back slightly here because I do not want to get charged by the Gene Stealers just yet. Realising my Schoolboy error that I've made pretty much 2 turns ago, but now I'm going to have to try to pull myself back from it. Gene Stealer the cultists, I pulled them further back, stay out of range of his big gun, and the cultists here have grown a pair and they're starting to pull themselves forward. And again, not being too brave, they still want to keep out of Mabel's firing range because they just don't want a couple of extra cheeky shots at him. So going into my shooting phase. Okay, so shooting phase, the Leviathan over here, let off all his lovely goodiness at his horrible Carnifex with the swinging, I don't know what it is.
Flail.
flail.
Crush effects. Have a bit more respect.
It looks a little bit different to a flail. It kind of looks like a ball of mucus.
How dare you?
Anyway, it's gone. It's dead. I'm happy. Which does lead me to assault into your lovely Broodlord.
It does.
So, managed to kill off that, and then with the Leviathan over here, didn't move, so I was hitting on 2s. Butcher's Cannon hit with 7 of them, and wounded 7, and I think John lost 3.
3, yeah, that's
So it
right.
wasn't too bad. And then the Renegades over here managed to put 1 cheeky Soul Cannon shot onto the Gene Stealers, but he didn't do nothing. And on Psychic Phase, I did put Prescience onto my squad, and I did try Smite on my Warlord. However, the Smite did fail. I rolled a 1 and a 2. Panicking, that was nearly Perils of the Warp, which wouldn't have been good for myself.
Yeah.
So now going into Assault. Okay, so combat probably didn't go as planned as I was hoping for. Leviathan had 4 attacks. Hit, may I say, all 4 attacks onto his Lord. Wounded with 3. However, John tanked the saves. 5 up blooming invans, which is cool. Now I thought maybe I can redeem myself with the Demon Prince, and once again he managed to save my invans. So pretty much all in all, he done pretty well. And that's it combat wise. And I did drop Kingslayer from my hand, which I should have done a long time ago.
And don't forget the Broodlord did take 1 wound back in response. No, the Broodlord didn't actually. It was the Gene Stealers took another wound off your big man. So he's only down to 4 wounds now, isn't he?
Yes, so they gave him a little slap around the face.
Gave him a little bit of a slap, but there's only 3 Stealers there, so they're going to have their work cut out. And Law of Odds.
They're gone next turn, so don't worry about it.
Well, I don't know where you're rolling, Darren, we'll see. But who should definitely be gone next turn is the Broodlord, but we'll have to wait and see. And we'll go on to Tyranids at turn 4. Right, so end of the movement phase for the Tyranids. So I've drawn 2 poor cards again, Security Objective 1 and 5, both on the other side of the board, not great there. So what have I done? The Gene Stealers have pegged it across here to try and save the Broodlord, or try and attempt to. The Termagants have moved up here in their kind of screen across this way, wrapping right the way down here and protecting the Exocrine down here, making sure that they're still in range of the Melon throat, really, really crucial there. And then the Broodlord and the remaining Gene Stealers fall back from the assaults. They're not going to do anything there. It's not good move. So they've gone back and hoping now that their colleagues can support them and help them out. The Exocrine's move around here. He's going to make sure that if he does decide to come round to take on the Gene Stealers and the Broodlord, that he's going to have to deal with the shots from the Exocrine afterwards. That's kind of the plan. I think I'm going to struggle to keep him safe, but what I will try and do is make sure that if he does come after me, I'll be there to kind of pick him up afterwards. That's the theory. Over this side of the board, eventually the Hirajul has started to make a beeline for the Leviathan. So he's over this side, pretty hard for him to see me, same for me to see him. We've run around here, we're going to have to take some shots this turn, but that's part and parcel. We're going to have to take a risk now. We've got a lot of wounds and the game is now excuse me, well and truly half the way through. So we've got an opportunity that we'll probably survive the game out. Probably, and we really could do with hitting that Leviathan really hard in combat, because we should be able to deal with him. So that's what's happened so far. A very tactical turn. It's been a very, very tactical game, and we'll see what happens as we go into the psychic phase and then on to a very brief shooting phase. Okay, so end of psychic phase, shooting phase. Some more smite going into Leviathan, taking another 2 wounds. Was it off him? Or was it 3? Yeah,
three wounds I've taken off me.
Yeah, so he's down to 8. Yeah. So he's we're slowly but surely doing some work on him, which is good. The shots from the Exocrine, obviously because I had to move, was understandably pretty poor. No damage done there, and that was all for shooting. No other damage done. Also in psychic phase, I should say that the Broodlord has got Catalyst on him as well, so that make him hopefully a little bit more survivable. We really need to try and get this guy to survive. He's quite crucial and quite key. He's a big damage output guy, and he's given some key synapse as well. So important stuff. So we'll see what happens now. We are now going to go into an assault phase, and we need a 9-inch charge. And I'm going to do that for you now. This is a 9 inches into the Leviathan. He will get to overwatch me, but ultimately I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that off the back. So it's not going to make a difference to this charge. So here we go. We need a 9 inches. 9 inches. Come on. Here we go. That's not going to be any good at all. Not worth the re-roll. Not going to be able to do it. So never mind. We'll go into. I think that is actually potentially it. I don't have anything else that can charge. No, I don't. So that will be the end of my turn. I have not scored any more objectives. We still have objective 5, still have objective 1, and still have Big Game Hunter. I will get rid of objective. Where's objective 5? Objective 5 is the one that's over that side. So we'll get rid of objective 5 and we'll hold on to these two for now. Obviously the Hirajil's kind of closing in on potentially objective 1, so that's still doable. But yeah, so pretty much uneventful there. But we'll see now whether the Broodlord can survive and ultimately whether he falls for the trap, because the Exocrine is ready to pounce. Very briefly, Overwatch did kill just the one Gene Stealer because I was charging from 9 inches. I was outside range of the Flamers, which saved me a little bit.
Get the melter gun.
I always got a melter gun. He's going to do that now. He has hit, of course he has. And he has wounded. So we'll see whether we can save it. We don't save it. There's another one down, so that's 2 Gene Stealers bite the dust.
Okay, so going into my turn 4.
Yes, your turn 4.
Yeah, it would be.
No, it's not. It's your turn 5.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, so turn 5.
Wow.
Pulled next objective, Master of the Warp. So this one I've got to either spell or dispel a psychic power to get another point. Hopefully I've got this in the bag. Hopefully. Movement wise, I've now, because of John's tactical error, moving his Toxic Queen where he's done. It means it's given me some balls to move myself over so I can then advance forward to start shooting some Gene Stealers.
Tactical error.
Call it what you want.
We'll see.
So then that leads me then to, I pull my Leviathan over purely because I just cannot afford to get smacked by his horrible thingamajig with bright, slimy, clawy things that could just rip this back end of my tin can open. Don't fancy that just yet, unless the odds are in my favour, which they're not. So now moving into my Psychic. Okay, so end of shooting phase. The Leviathan popped off the rest of the final remaining Gene Stealers here. I was kind of hoping to cheekily pop it as Broodlord, but it just wasn't going to happen. It's just too many things too close to myself, and I couldn't afford to put myself in chance of his big thing popping up my Leviathan. So instead I put the Flamers into the Gene Stealers, wiped them out, and then the rest of the fire went into the Gene Stealers here, whittling them down to 5 left. So everything else pretty much shot at those, apart from the Leviathan in the corner, which popped off his 8 shots on the Butcher's Cannon into his Hierophant, which managed to do 2 damage. So all in all, 1 got through, happy with that. Okay, so end of combat, managed to take out the rest of his Gene Stealers, so his hard hitting units kind of knocked out, not the biggest threat yet, which then also don't make anything run or flee because of his synapse, so I don't get physical, psychological warfare, so I'm going to ditch that this turn. But I do get Masters of the Warp, so there's another objective point, and that's D3 as well, which gives me
nice
3 points, so that's
3
good.
points there. So that puts Darren up by 3 points, yeah? So
yep.
You're now on 6 to my 3, and he has taken the lead on the kill points, because now I think you've got 4 units now?
That's 4 units, and then what I've also done, cheekily pull myself a little bit further forward, just be within an inch of his gaunts to make him either run or tie me up.
Yeah. So yeah, so interesting stuff. So all to play for. He's absolutely in shooting range of the Exocrine. If I decide to fall back with the gaunts, probably the sensible thing, and then I could just pile the shots into him. And we've also got plenty of smites. We've got a Warlord now that's absolutely in a good range as well for the Broodlord to do some serious work. So we've got some real viable targets now. We've got the cards on the board, so we'll see what we pull. And we also have now the Hirajil that's starting to get into striking range. So it's really hotting up, but this is potentially my last turn. So we need to do some work as we go into turn 5 for the Tyranids. So we go into turn 5, potentially the last turn of the game. It's all heating up. It's all like it's been cat and mouse whole game, and now both armies are really showing their teeth. putting every last little bit of effort into trying to bring home this victory in the last couple of turns of this game, or the last turn potentially. So another very, very poor card taken by the Tyranids. So we got this priority orders received. So basically, to kind of cut down on the waffle of this card, you then get to draw a bonus card. The bonus card is a security objective 2, but only your warlord can do that objective. Objective 2 is miles away in the other deployment zone, so there's no way my warlord can get anywhere near it, particularly at this stage of the game. So I still have Big Game Hunter, which is only for me. I just need to kill a Leviathan, which is so difficult. And I have Defend Objective 1, and Objective 1 is miles away, and I don't have... In fact, it's not a million miles away from my Hurricane now, but I do need to defend it for 2 turns, which is very unlikely. So in the movement phase, what have I done? So the gaunts that he'd consolidated into, there was a bit of a debate, but Darren was absolutely spot on. He could consolidate in within 1 inch of the guys to make sure that I'm either have to stay in combat or fall back. So I fall back within 1 inch of him. So they're just surrounding him, making sure that he can't do anything. And then the Broodlord has run up here. He's run up and he is making sure that he can smite into the Demon Prince. The Termagant has moved around here and he's making sure that he can then smite into the Leviathan. And then what would have happened here is the Hurricane has dashed through the terrain, through the door of the ruins into here, and he is now by the door waiting to pounce out on the Leviathan. Darren's pacing around because he's frustrated, he's angry, he knows he's in trouble, he knows the Leviathan's potentially going down. He's very much I am on the back foot, so he's trying to find some way that he can wind his way out of the trouble that he's now in.
Has to be done. Where there's a will, there's a way.
So we'll see what happens. There's still an awful lot that needs to kind of go right for me. I need to really put away this Leviathan, and if I'm lucky I need to try and put away the other one, but there's a lot up in the air and I need my smites to go well. So it's going to be tough, guys. Wish me luck. We're going into turn 5. So the end of psychic and shooting phase, and I'm not going to lie, guys, I'm feeling quite happy right now. That was a very, very effective phase for me. So the big thing, and to be fair, it was all down to one thing. This Broodlord here, I rolled super, super hot on his smite, got onto doing D6 mortal wounds, and was enough to dispatch his warlord and kill the Demon Prince. Big. I rolled a 6 for the wounds taken, which is crazy good. The Exocrine, however, when it went to shooting, did not do as well. I only took, 2 damage. Did I take 2 wounds off him?
You took 2 wounds, yeah.
Took 2 wounds off him, and I don't think, did I take 1 wound off with the smite from the Termagant?
Yes, you did.
So we're 3 wounds in all off this guy then this turn, yeah?
So put me down to 7.
Take him down to 7, so not terrible. The Broodlord potentially can come in and do some work now. It's a bit of a dangerous move because potentially he'll then turn around and kill me, but I think it's probably worthwhile doing. Then over this side of the board, I could see him, so I did shoot him with my flamer just in range, and did just one wound on him there, so not too bad. The big thing with him is going to be the charge, whether I can make that charge. If I can make that charge, could be in a lot of trouble, that Leviathan, but we'll see what happens. It's all hotting up, things are starting to come together for the Tyranids, and things are not looking as good, not as rosy for the Chaos Space Marines. So I'll tell you what, guys, let's do it. Darren's heart is pumping as we speak. We're going to do this charge. This charge is big. We've worked it out. We need 6. We need a 6. Now with the Hurricane, the way it works is you roll 3d6. You take the highest. Okay. I do have a command point as well, so we're going to try and do this. Okay. We need 6 inches. We need 6 inches, guys. And that is not going to need any reroll. That is in, and we are on like Donkey Kong. Right. So we're at the end of assault phase, and what a brutal assault phase it was. So the Broodlord ran in and he did take a combination of everything. That guy is down to 1 wound left, but just surviving in there, and he did then dispatch the Broodlord. So brutal stuff there, really brutal.
I think he got it between his claws and just like slowly.
I think he must have done.
Squeezed his big head.
I think he did, and to be fair, the Broodlord took damage on the run in as well. The Overwatch really causing him a lot of grief. Otherwise, he might still be around. Then over here, not going well for me. The Hurrigel really got annihilated. To be fair, by the Leviathan. That 4 damage coming from his fist, and the fact that he hits on 2s. I just couldn't do the damage initially to put the pain in. He has still got 9 wounds left, so loads of wounds, and still in the top category. And the Hurrigel is down to 8 wounds and kind of hanging in there a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next turn. But there's an opportunity that potentially the Hurrigel could go down, and that would be big news. But that's all going to be dependent on whether this game goes on. At the moment, it will be a Chaos Space Marine victory, because ultimately, as it stands, Darren will win the Maelstrom as well as the primary mission. Now I have the tertiary because I have killed his warlord. He doesn't kill my warlord. He hasn't got Linebreaker. I have Linebreaker currently, and I have Slay the Warlord, but that will not be enough because he holds Maelstrom and he holds ultimately the most kill points. But we'll wait and see, because we now have a crucial role. On a 1 or a 2, the game will end. Darren will take the victory. On anything further, we'll play on to turn 6. Go for it. To 3. So we will play on into turn 6. And let's see what happens. Can the Leviathans, the heavy lifters of this Chaos Space Marine army, can they survive on in there and take this victory away from the Tyranids, or will the Tyranids get what they need and take out these 2 big guys to potentially take this victory home for the Hive fleet? All to play for as we go into turn 6 for the Chaos Space Marines.
Okay, so objective wise, the only real 2 cards I picked up is Hold and Defend Objective Marker 5. So if this goes on to turn 7, that's 2 more points. And then Overwhelming Firepower, we've got to destroy Sunken Shooting. That's going to be difficult. I either try to take the Gaunts on, but it's a hell of a lot of Gaunts, or try to take out Bertha. One of the 2 has got to go. So I've started pulling things forward. Might be able to do it. I'm not 100% confident. But let's go into Psychic. Okay, so for shooting, I kind of dedicated everything to shoot at the Gaunts. As you can see, the table's kind of a bit bare now of horrible little wibbly Gaunts. It just took the whole lot of my firepower to wipe them out. Thankfully, the Leviathan managed to pop them off with the extra buffs that I took from the Sorcerers onto him to give that +1 hit. It done it. It minced them up.
Just did it.
Had a melter shot left, but might have done it, might not have done
to the model.
But the main thing is, I've done it. I'm in there. Yep. So going into Assault Phase.
Right guys, so we're just going to recap this assault phase pretty briefly. The Leviathan did try and charge in to the Termagant. We decided, well, I decided, Darren is still undecided, but I think that's a terrible move if he'd made it in, because it would have put him in guaranteed full shooting from the Exocrine, and I just would have backed off with a Termagant, smited him and guaranteed to pretty much kill him. He wouldn't have stood a chance. At least by him staying there, I had to play the gambit with the smite, and hopefully it comes off, because this guy is going to be struggling to hurt him. But anyway, that's by the by. He failed the charge. The Overwatch didn't do anything, and that is that, as they say. But we are going to do a combat for you on camera, because it's very, very important. I would say, if I'm being brutally honest, if Darren can kill the Hurrigel, and there's a good chance that he can. He has the tools to do it. If he can kill the Hurrigel, that should be game, to be fair, because it takes him out of line break. I don't have anything else to take him in line break. And then, don't you start rolling dice yet. I'm building this up, Darren. You're getting too excited. Let me build this. Let me build the tension. Come on. Come on, build the tension. So if he kills him, he'll take me out of line break. He'll get another kill point. He's already got 1 this turn, so that'll give him another 2, which means I won't be able to come back from kill points. And because where Maelstroms are, it looks almost unlikely I'll get Maelstrom as well, which should give Darren the victory. So it's a lot to play for. Now let's just go through these stats a little bit for you. I'm just building, because Darren's like sweating buckets in there. But I'm just going to kind of build this for you guys. So the Leviathan has 4 attacks. He does hit on 2s. His weapon will then wound me on 3s. I won't have a save against it, and that's where we'll be. So I have 8 wounds remaining. Every wound that he gets through is 4 damage. So he needs to get 2 wounds through of 4 to kill me off, and there's nothing I can do about it. So that's what we've got to do. We'll see what happens. Go on, Darren. Can you do this, mate? Can you do it? Can you do it? Here we go. So that's a good start. He's got all 4 through. Now all he needs is just a few. Just a few. Here we go. And guys, he's not done it. He's not done it.
There's 4 wounds gone off you though.
He's not done it. Can we just say, he has not done it, guys. And that is a man. He's feeling.
Hold on.
Oh, here we go. Toughness is 8, and you know.
Toughness 8
Yeah.
times my strength is 8. You ready for this one? Strength is 8, and that's times 2 on the weapon. So that means I'm double your toughness, my friend. So that means I'm winning.
He thinks he's got it. He thinks he's got it, guys. He's tried to dig in deep, find some rules that aren't there, guys. But we'll come back to you. We'll double check it. Come back. So guys, we've just come back, we double checked it, and he's absolutely spot on. The idiot who didn't realise it first turn, doesn't even know his own units. No wonder we haven't won any games, Darren. If you don't even know the strength of your own units, you've got all sorts of trouble.
You're going to fail. But the main thing is...
he has taken him. So he has taken him down. Now let's see whether on his final death throws he does some damage. It will be pretty much game over, guys, but you know, let's see this. On a 5 or a 6, and he'll do D3 damage. And he does. So D3 damage to the Leviathan. And that's another 2 wounds off the Leviathan. Now we'll just kind of play it on just for a little bit, but I think we'll probably come back to you after a very, very brief Tyranid turn. And when we just sat down and worked it out, we had a little quick sum up, and currently Darren has got 7 kill points off me at the moment, and I only actually have 3. Now, bear in mind, I probably should take the Leviathan. He only has 1 wound left. We've got Smite and what have you. We might be able to maybe make some like cultists run away and die through some shots from the X-Crine if you crept round there. He's not very accurate shooting anyway. So unlikely. So maybe a couple more in the bag for me potentially brings me up to 5. I don't see any possibility of me of getting above that. He has already won Maelstrom. You know, it's just not going to happen.
The dust is settled.
Yeah, it's definitely settled. It's definitely settled.
Well, John, epic game.
It was.
Take number 3.
Yeah. No, it was a quality game. Good fun. 2 very, very matched armies. I think it was pretty backwards and forwards.
Very evenly between the 2 armies.
It was really quite tactical as well, wasn't it? I mean, ultimately, we both sort of stood off a little bit, and then at the end it was like run, crash, smash.
Each other.
Everything kind of dying all off. You know, it was great. I mean, there's loads of great sort of elements of it. I mean, for you, sort of, what's your star of the show? I think I'll probably guess.
For me, it's going to have to be the Leviathans.
They're a beast, aren't they?
They've been worth their weight in gold. 2 up save, toughness 8. They're basically 2 land raiders rocking across the board, moving at 8 inches.
Absolutely.
I can't knock them in the slightest. And the fact that he held up right to the end.
Very happy. And for me, I mean, X-Crime was awesome, but he scared you all game. Actually, I'm going to give it to the Broodlord. He did some really, really important work, both interrupting over here and killing off your Warlords. That was crucial when he was a nuisance, and actually he almost killed the Leviathan.
Actually, do you know what? The star of the game would have to be the 2...
Yeah, your one guy, your
Space Hulk Terminators.
Nightmare, absolute nightmare. But anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that game. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. It helps us absolutely tons and tons.
I really appreciate it.
And there'll be loads more battle reports coming very, very soon. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Thanks. Bye bye.